here's Brody Brazil.
Well, first off, a little side note and detour to begin this video. Congratulations to the U.S. men's Olympic basketball team. They beat France. They win gold. LeBron, KD, and oh my goodness, Steph Curry took over that gold medal game late. He was tremendous, and the team really captivated our attention in the last couple weeks. So congratulations to them. It's all about to relate to the real point of this video, which is Major League Baseball and potential Olympic participation. But as the Games of Paris 2024 start to wind down, it's kind of a trip to realize the next time we see the Summer Olympics, they'll actually be taking place on American soil. In fact, in my home state here in California, it's the LA Games of 2028. And with Los Angeles, there are some events and sports that are disappearing. For example, like breakdancing, that's gone. That was in Paris, famously, but it won't be in Los Angeles. But baseball and softball are coming back as Olympic sports for the LA Games of 2028. And baseball is the topic of this video. It's what we're going to focus on here. Not just baseball, but Major League Baseball potential participation with its players in these games. But as for Olympic baseball, it's got kind of an interesting history. It debuted back in the 1900 Summer Olympic Games in Paris of all places, where it was not this summer here in 2024. It was, though, in 1900. It took 92 years to become an official Olympic sport, but that happened in 92 in Barcelona. So now it's official. Now they play it every 4 years until the year 2008, and then they stop. And then it was revived for the Tokyo 2020 Games, which actually, as you know, didn't take place in 20. They took place in 21. There was a hiatus for these Paris Games for baseball in 2024, but baseball is returning for Los Angeles again in 2028. So not a question of whether baseball is in or out of the Olympics. It's happening. We just don't know who will be able to participate in it based on the timing of the Major League season and when the Olympics are, which I'll give you those dates in just a second. So opening ceremonies, actually, I'll give it to you right now. Opening ceremonies for 28 are on July 14th. Now, you instantly think about where's the Major League Baseball season at that point. Usually, mid-July, you're taking 4 days off. You're doing the All-Star break. So you're already starting to see the wheels in motion here. Could baseball pause its season? Could baseball eliminate the All-Star Game and / week and even carve out a little bit more time in their schedule for 2028 and allow its players the opportunity, for players who would qualify, for players who are eligible to represent their countries? Could baseball carve out the time and make this happen? I think the answer of logistically could they is yes. They could find a way. Whether they want to do it or not, whether it's optimal for them or not, whether it's optimal for all the teams and players who will not be participating in the Olympics, I'm not here to say yes or no to that, but could they actually do this? Yeah, the timing is kind of favorable with the All-Star Game / break and when they could fit in Olympic competition in Southern California. They also, I realize, might have to already be working on the schedule for 2028 to open up Dodger Stadium and Angel Stadium down in Southern California, maybe even Petco Park in San Diego. I don't even know the official baseball Olympic venues for the LA Games, but certainly Los Angeles and Southern California, no shortage of the highest caliber ballparks that the world could provide. But all of this, again, is in MLB's hands, right? It's not to the Olympics to say yes or no, you're in or you're out. It's all if Major League Baseball and its players, as part of a next CBA, which I think is about to take place in 2026, whether the players and the owners, basically the league, whether they can come together on this or not, it's all in their hands whether big league players would actually be allowed to play in the Olympics in LA for 2028. So let me get to some sticking points and obvious things that Major League Baseball is going to say, wait a second, we're not sure about this. We're not exactly ready to instantly sign off and say yes on this. Baseball is not always great regarding the bigger picture. I think we can all realize that. They're not always great at reading the room, reading what's best for them. Sometimes they're a little bit narrow-focused and they can't see the wide view. They just see their sport, their season, what they've always done, what tradition tells them, and the safest possible thing to do. Which, look, I respect their traditions. I respect the people who run the game from a historical sense. But in terms of operating it here and now, yeah, I don't know that they always have the best peripheral vision to see the bigger picture. They also, as you're very well aware, are trying to build their own World Baseball Classic. Like, it was pretty big this last time around, but they're trying to make that as the global event of baseball. And so I don't know that they necessarily want the Olympics of 2028 to potentially overshadow the World Baseball Classic of 2028, which would happen before the season starts anyway. But now you've got two global type events and you're pushing the season back, and then you're stretching it out with an all-star break, an extended break, like maybe 2 full weeks off or a week and a half off in the middle of a baseball season. And that's my next point here. You'd literally have to shut down baseball for, I think, a week and a half at the least, maybe close to 2 weeks. Now, baseball is an everyday sport. The players rely and thrive on rhythm and routine and the everyday nature of the sport. And to shut things down, wow. I mean, you'd still have teams able and working out and no problem like that, but they can't continue to play games. You're pausing a season and then restarting it. 2 weeks off of baseball, I mean, that's like 4 months off of football or hockey or basketball just because of the everyday nature of baseball. So I understand why they're reluctant to jeopardize the rest of the players and the rest of the teams who, again, are not participating or don't have participation in the Olympics with their players. But you understand that players across the board will want to do this. Even the ones who wouldn't qualify to play for their country and represent their country, players want this. Owners don't want this. Owners don't feel like they have much to gain. They're paying their players to have success on their teams, to fill their ballparks. They don't want to jeopardize any health or things like that. Could you imagine some pitcher throwing out their arm or the old forearm strain, which turns into the Tommy John surgery after the UCL situation? Could you imagine somebody blowing out their arm in the Olympics and then looking back at their big league team of 2028, the second half of 2028, and saying, well, your team is now in trouble because your ace basically threw their arm out? Or any other injury, obviously, that could crop up. So, but this is the same thing that hockey deals with because their season is in the winter and it's Winter Olympics. Basketball is so lucky. It's a winter sport here in North America, but it's part of the Summer Olympic Games. I guess the only way for baseball to really ever get this right is to figure out a way to make baseball a Winter Olympic sport, but that will just never seem right. Now, will it? Now, I think hockey could actually switch to being a Summer Olympic sport. The games are indoors anyway. You just better build better ice plant facilities. Anyway, long story short, that's the complication here, the timing of the actual baseball season of summer and the Summer Olympic Games. Here are some obvious reactions from two superstars who carry some of the most weight. Bryce Harper and Shohei Ohtani both giving these quotes to Sports Illustrated. Harper saying, quote, "You want to grow the game, right? Why wouldn't you want to grow it at the peak of sports?" Obviously, he's talking about the Olympic Games. Shohei said this, quote, "I'd like to play in the Olympics. Also, knowing the fact that there will be non-baseball fans watching the games as well, I think it would be really good for the baseball industry." End quote. And I agree with their sentiments, right? This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I mean, you understand that baseball isn't even in the Olympics every 4 years, it appears, but it will be for Los Angeles. The travel situation, right? You don't have to have players crossing different continents or on the other side of the world. Body clocks aren't messed up. They could just go to these games, play them as fast as possible, and then continue their major league season. So here are my takeaways. Number one, again, none of this is easy in season, but there's a reason that hockey has figured it out with their players and why the NBA has no problem with their players starting up and now shutting down in the middle of summer well before their actual NBA season begins. Look, if one of the basketball players on Team USA that you just saw win a gold medal, if they got hurt, ruptured an Achilles, I mean, it didn't happen. I don't have to knock on wood anymore, but can you imagine what their NBA teams would be thinking about the upcoming seasons? They find a way to figure this out and make it happen for the better good of their game, their sport, popularity, and image thing. And that's the other part about this. If baseball's looking at this and saying, well, what's in it for us? No, there's not a monetary or instant tangible spike. No, baseball, you're not getting $500 million or $2 billion instantly for your players to do this. The return on this, the ROI, is a long-term growth of the game. You're exposing it now to the world. You're letting people see it differently, a true Team USA versus a team whoever in the Olympics, and they get to see it. I know there's a World Baseball Classic, but there's something so prestigious about the Olympics. And it would give Major League Baseball a good name to say that, you know what, we recognize the Olympics and we want our best players in the world at the competition, ultimate competition of the world, the Olympic Games. And also this situation, what baseball is like dealing with down the road of 2028, this is not an every year problem. This happens once every 4 years. Just try it out here. You're not signing everybody up instantly for 2028 and 32 and 36 and 40 yet. Just do 4 years at a time. One Olympic, one Summer Olympics at a time. But also this problem, and I say this problem, this issue, this back and forth, players want in. Owners probably don't want it to happen. You're not going to see this tension subside until something gets figured out, and there's going to be a lot of back and forth, I think, on this starting right now until 2028. And I digress. I'm going to go back to the U.S. men's Olympic basketball team just winning gold. Like, they weren't the dream team. Like, that team of 92 in Barcelona, their closest game was the gold medal game against Croatia. I think they won by 30-something points. They steamrolled everybody. But the basketball team this summer with, Steph, KD, LeBron, and others, they were very interesting. They were fun to watch. They gave basketball and the NBA a really good name by people watching this and getting excited about basketball in the middle of the offseason. I realize for baseball, it would be different during their season. But again, it goes to the popularity and the growth of basketball and why they've been doing this for now so many years. Baseball has to get on board. In my opinion, baseball is going to look way too antiquated if they say, well, even though the Olympics are in our own country, on our own continent, in ballparks probably that, are ours anyway, but we don't want any part of that. We do the World Baseball Classic. Like, we're too good for that. I could see baseball doing that. And I think that would be a bad look for baseball. All right, you made it here to the end of the video. I really appreciate that. Thumbs up down below. That greatly helps me, this video, and this channel. I would like that, the thumbs up, but I would love this. If you just take a second, go down there right now, hit that subscribe button so I definitely get to see you back here next time.